Welcome to Terra Juno Painting Stuff. In this video, we're going to be painting this 16 by 16 inch oil painting of some apple pears, roses, and dahlias from life. There's really no comparison to painting from life, but when you're painting things that change and die, it can be a bit of a challenge. You may need to do some compromising and stay flexible in your plans. For this painting, I chose these beautiful golden pear apples from my dad's garden. I just loved their smooth golden skin. I loved the color and the shape. There was just something so incredibly delicious about them. I guess it's probably because they're delicious. They were delicious. To find the composition, I used my viewfinder and just moved the objects around until I liked it. I attached the viewfinder to a tripod to hold it steady and then sketched out the basic composition in pencil. I removed the grid lines and pencil lines that I thought might be too dark and would show through the lighter paint. For a palette, I'm working with Titanium White, Fast Dry White by Gamblin, Cadmium Yellow Light, Ultramarine Blue, Ivory Black, Cadmium Orange Medium, Cadmium Red Medium, Alizarin Crimson, Terra Rosa, Burnt Sienna, and Yellow Ochre. I knew that of all my subjects, the rose would perish first, so I got going on that. I'm using mostly filbert and round hog-haired brushes on this painting. I also had a number 0 round synthetic and a filbert synthetic for areas that required more detail. For the background, I'm using a bit of ivory black and yellow ochre and fast dry white. For the darker areas, I'm adding a little bit of burnt sienna to warm it up. I wanted to keep a lot of open space up in the right hand of my painting. Sometimes I will just experiment with composition that way, just to try something new and experiment with different feelings. I put this open space here, and I also knew that there might be the possibility I might fill it with something if it needed to be filled. In the end, I decided it really didn't. I was just going to keep that space open as a place for the viewer's eye and mind to wander to and rest. Despite some of the struggles of painting from life, I really prefer it, and I'll always choose painting from life if it's an option. I like being the first to edit my subject, and the colors have no comparison. Plus, it keeps me from fiddling endlessly with the painting, because live things change, move, and die. My rose didn't make it long, so I had to find another to substitute. Each rose is unique, and I preferred some of the shapes and shadows on this particular rose, so I changed it slightly on the painting. I bet you're wondering where these dahlias came from. After the roses were complete, I roughed in the pears and decided that the painting needed something else. I just didn't know what. Then I was given these beautiful golden dahlias, and they were just the thing. I've never painted dahlias, so this would be a new subject for me. The challenge was how to paint them without too much detail while still making them read as dahlias before they die. Fun fact, dahlias die quickly. The petals were dropping as soon as I put that yellow paint on the canvas. When you're working from life with subjects that may move or change or perish, you really need to have a flexible mindset. And that's going to help you along in your painting process because as these objects change or move, you're going to have to adapt. If you're always painting the same way or the way that you were taught, I do hear that a lot. People like to hang on to methods that they were taught because somebody said so. And I think it's important to be flexible in your thinking and take in new challenges and new methods Don't get too attached to certain ideas and rules. There are certain rules that are important to adhere to, like fat over lean, for instance, where you don't want the layer underneath to contain more oil than the layer over top, or the painting will crack, or, common sense things like that. But everything else, it's mostly just a made up construct. And really, if it doesn't work for you, then change it. For the final touches, I added a few of the fallen dahlia petals for a nice bit of color on the white cloth. When you're working with items that may move or change, it's important to keep your plans flexible. Thank you so much for joining me for this little painting. I hope you have a great week, and I hope you paint something beautiful. Why do you smell like ice cream?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes, 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 yes.